Well, here we go again. I've had this bill everywhere. It's handed to me from here and there. And you know what? When we started this unusual year, it didn't come in this little book or a chapter, How to Conduct Rotary Through COVID-19. Nowhere in here. But I will tell you, with help and great help, we've conquered COVID-19 and managed some great, in my opinion, top-notch programs. And that is thanks to my great wingmen. I want to thank Andrew for leading the charge, and to David and Todd. I tell you what, you had my back. And as wingmen, you know what a wingman does, right? They protected me during this season. Hats off to you, and I owe you. And I know David, I know you will lead the cattle call to call that favor in. I also want to thank Marge and Hicks for heading up our first strategic plan for our club, or at least that I've seen, and Harriet and Marge for leading the charge for our new membership orientation. I think that's going to be great for years to come. And Robin, you completed our first annual report that, as you well know, the district's been calling for. More on all of that later. And of course, thanks to those of you who stepped up to pray. We couldn't have made it without the power of prayer this year. And for Scott, for our guest intros each week, and to all of you who've Zoomed in with me, and for those who've been steadfast in attending and staying with Rotary. And of course, Aaron and Wanda, you're the best. Always doing more than ask and taking care of business, and honestly, keeping this show together this entire year. I have loved working with both of you. So thank you again so very much. And of course, again, thanks to all Rotarians who served on our board with me this year. You know, you made some tough decisions and some important decisions with me this year, and I'm grateful for your support. So now, just a few things to remember that sometimes are better said in a picture. A picture captures it sometimes better than words. And so let's have just a little recall. You know, last year there were 2 events in Chattanooga in March 2020 with large crowds, as I recall, the last 2. One was my Odyssey Luncheon event on March 11th, and the other, I remember I was sitting next to Judge Filial on March 12th, and the next day, we all scurried out that Thursday, and the next day, everything had been canceled, including school by Hamilton County and all others. And so during that time, I came in on June 20th, and I was looking for my friends, and no one was there. And from there, it went where? Well, we had our first virtual show, and we knew from that first time that we had to get it right going forward. You know, I did promise 2 things when I opened up on the 25th. One, for my remarks last year, I said that I would have 100% attendance, even if it meant carrying this bell from place to place, right? And so look at some of the places that we landed to open Rotary. I kept you safe and sound all year long, from one Zoom meeting to the other. What a great travel companion. You're my best friend. The second thing I said is I would wear a tie every Rotary, and I made good on both of those. Why the tie? When Rowena introduced me as the next president of our Rotary Club, she said you'd find this person most days in a blazer, although without a tie. And so I decided that day that I would, as most of the gentlemen used to do, wear a tie every week. And so I've adorned a tie in a ladylike fashion each week for the last 52 weeks. Ringing that bell, I got a kick out of this. I would lug the bell from place to place, and sometimes I would forget the bell. Now see how this works. Don't tell me any of you knew which bell I was ringing. There were some days that I opened Rotary with this sound. Depending on where you hit it, you couldn't tell the difference. You just had to know where to hit it. Was it the lid or was it the bell. We also tried to create some fun times. I remember Franklin McCauley sharing his magic potion, as you can see here. And of course, Christmas is a time of sharing. We had a ball that day. You know, I also shared a quote each week. So I'll end with this quote. Be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed. I transformed myself many days and many weeks. So the difference this year, I get to hand my friend Craig a real cup of coffee instead of a virtual cup. Craig, I appreciate your support this year, and I look forward to your leadership as we continue to maneuver these uncharted waters. But we know that you bring leadership that will take us and our club to the next level, and I look forward really working with you. So, you know, again, March 12th was the last real meeting. We've been Zooming all year. We've had, I think, if I count right, 7 in-person meetings, and I'm glad to see you all here with me today to celebrate my last meeting and to also celebrate Craig and his inauguration as he leads this club. So again, thank you all, and let's go have some fun.